Hey guys, it's Joel, and I'm continuing my series about things that I've got in the therapy room because people have asked about them. And so this next thing that we're going to do is a labyrinth. They don't have to look like this. There's a longer version of the labyrinth on the back. This is a finger labyrinth, so you can do it with your finger. But the labyrinth is a very old symbol. It shows up in a lot of mythological systems. You see it in things like the Aztec fifth sun, which is that kind of wheel you see in Mexican restaurants sometimes, or in Tenochtitlan if you ever go to Mexico City. You see it in Buddhism. You see it all throughout Christianity, different types of Christianity. You see it all throughout the world. This kind of circular idea that there's a maze, but it only has one path, and it slowly leads back to the center. And that path can look a lot of different ways, but this is a medieval labyrinth. It's modeled on something that was in French cathedrals. It's one of the oldest labyrinths. I believe the oldest labyrinth that they found in the Christian tradition is from Shady, France. French word, I don't know. I believe it's in the Shady Cathedral. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But in the medieval period, the labyrinth starts getting used because people are going on these pilgrimages. So if you're wealthy, you're like, I want to find myself, I want to commune with God, I want to really develop my spiritual sense, I'm going to go on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. You have to be super wealthy to do that, kind of like now. If you want to go on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem, you probably got to be pretty well off. I don't think I could afford it. And so you go to Jerusalem and you pray and you go to these holy sites and you develop yourself and your spirituality. But if you're poor, you can't do that. So there's these labyrinths in the cathedrals, and they start being used in this tradition where there would be maybe some music, like French Taizé music is used a lot now, which is a very repetitive spiritual kind of chant. And they would be one of these on the floor, and it would be huge. So a person could stand on the little path, and you would slowly kind of meditate about yourself and your spiritual journey, and you would go on this metaphorical journey all the way to the center of the labyrinth, where you would kneel down and pray and metaphorically go to Jerusalem, if you couldn't afford to actually go there. And the tradition eventually becomes that. But for a while, the labyrinths are actually older than that tradition, that are in these stone floors. So there's kind of some guess that maybe there's a spiritual practice associated with it that we don't have records of in Christianity. And so they're carved into the floors, and they're big enough to walk on. So, I mean, one of the ideas is that you could use it maybe like a rosary, that there's kind of 4 quadrants of this. Another one is that there would be kind of places where you would stop during a liturgy or something. There's some theories, but ultimately we don't really know. I use this in therapy because it's very calming to slow down and use this with your finger if you maybe have PTSD or some anxiety, and just kind of meditate and know that you're only going one way. You're going to end up in the center, and right now you have to just concentrate on the present moment of where you are. If you want to with these, you can also use a stylus. I want to do a labyrinth making workshop one day, and I also want to get a really big labyrinth and do a labyrinth walk with some candle music and stuff downstairs. This is the shorter one. If you got a little bit more time, you can do this one. This is the labyrinth for, like, I want my enlightenment now. I want to commune with the divine in a limited amount of time. I'm a man on the go, shorter path to the self. But it's kind of a neat image. There's obviously a lot more I could talk about, but that's the basics of what a labyrinth is. And if you have any questions or ideas, leave a comment. And I hope to see you in therapy one day.